fascists are coming. The 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 fascists are coming. This is not a drill. The fascism indicator in America has been steadily rising since the first electoral victory of Donald J. Trump. That was the first sign, but the mainstream media and most liberals treated it as a fluke of nature rather than as the symptom it really was. From there, it has been a steady rise of fascism as Biden and the Democrats were unable to stop the economy and quality of life from sliding down the drain. It can be debated exactly when the American dream died, but now it is beginning to decompose. And this year, with the Trump administration's tariff war against immigration, a trade war with China, and preparation for military war with whichever nation Trump's sour about on that day. Oh, I almost forgot to mention all the gutted government agencies and institutions, the ones that were literally made to protect the American way of life, including the recently killed Department of Education. The American dream is about to turn into a nightmare, where you, the American citizen, will have to grind 16 hours a day just to have to borrow to survive at the end of the month. And that's if you forget about getting injured or sick. Hell, if you got any debilitating conditions that require medical expenses, I suggest you change your name to Grinder, because that's all you're going to be doing with your life. And if you have a terminal illness, change your name to Beggar and take a guess on what you're going to be doing. The current Trump administration is also gutting all labor protections, going against unions and the minimum wage. Let me paint a picture on what that means for the American people. Aside from the 16-hour work shifts every day, there will be no sick days, no vacation days or leave days, no maternity leave, and a maybe on off days if work is slow. And if you've seen the job report, work is definitely going to be slow for a while. For the limited amount of work that will be available, you're going to be competing against the should have been retired but not because they're broke elderly that will probably be trying to earn for their medication, and literal children for their $300,000 college degree so they can earn just a little bit more than their current minimum wage. This is the rotted carcass of the American dream that future generations are going to be enjoying in the upcoming decades. So if I say this system is going to crash and burn to the ground at some point, does that make me a conspiracy theorist? Americans are angry, and that hatred has to be directed somewhere, lest it falls on the poor innocent billionaires. The right wing has been successfully directing this anger at liberals and progressives, both of whom they've put together inside the same group called the left, which is not true. Liberals are center-right and progressives are the actual leftists in America. This example that I'm showing is not 100% accurate because, surprise surprise, politics is fucking complex. What is accurate though is that these people shown here are in completely different camps, but not that it matters to this fascist government. With the recent murder of Charlie Kirk, the Trump administration and right-wingers have launched a crackdown on the First Amendment, launching a wave of cancellations, threats of arrest and violence, and active efforts to deplatform liberals and lefties. Like the complete hypocrites they always had been, the right wing is also happily getting people fired whose only crime was repeating the quotes of dearly departed Charlie. Trump himself has made repeated comments against liberal talk show hosts and influencers. The people who are supporting and cheering this on are fascists, and this is not just me calling them that, this is literally the definition of the word. Someone who has doo-doo for lunch is called a doo-doo eater. That's not my personal bias calling him that, it's just something that aligns with the actions he's taking. Of course, the modern fascists like to cry and say the liberals started canceling, we're just doing the same. Which is empirically not true. They've been canceling people, events, the LGBTQ, and books. Hell, books! Anyone who cancels books is a fascist by default. But they've gone and canceled the Department of Education, which I don't even know what power level of fascism is that. Fascists and conservatives, I don't even know why I'm bothering to separate the two at this point, are now ramping up the scale, and depending on how far they're willing to take this, it could also be a practice run in seeing how many dissenting voices they can shut down. The full extent of their influence, so to speak. For now, it has been Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, and Twitch streamers like Hasanabi and Destiny, along with private individuals like teachers and employees who were fired. It seems the Trump administration is also treating this as a good opportunity to filter out all the pesky lefties and liberals out of government and military institutions. The sheer scale of hypocrisy is astounding. God damn, man, the hypocrisy. They have no principles. Nada. Zero. Everything they've said that they'd been against, cancel culture, restrictions on free speech, all of their proclaimed values, they just flipped on all of them on a dime. Now, why am I telling you all of this? The point I'm trying to make is that this is not the last time this administration is going to try this, and this might not even be the limit on how far they're going to go. Also, for now, it's just calls to get people fired or deplatformed, but there is nothing stopping this administration from escalating further into FBI investigations, police visits, and in the worst case, even arrests. At this time, it only seems like it's just some TV show hosts and Twitch streamers, but targeting broadcasting companies through their licenses and calling in CEOs of online platforms for congressional hearing is 100% a litmus test. A test to see if these CEOs will play ball with the Trump administration, just like with all the other US companies and even international countries. Any online progressive space you share is in a precarious situation and can be banned at a moment's notice. Or cooperate with this administration and give total surveillance of your chats to them. These fascists don't care. They will make up some bullshit to get their way and infringe on your space. And with all the stupid policies they keep shitting out that are actively throttling people's finances, this is only going to get worse with time. Anytime they want to distract from something, let's say like the Jeffrey Epstein files or the Jobs report, they're going to ramp up pressure. The more desperate they are, the greater the pressure. Progressives and liberals in America need to start bracing for impact because in all honesty, the crackdown is not a question of if, but a question of when. Now, if your immediate response after listening to this is, "Stupid leftist calling everything he doesn't like fascist, what have they done that's fascist?" then it's too late for you. You're just not gonna get it. Until the jackboot thugs are at your doorstep because your neighbor saw you talk shit about dearly departed Trump or Elon or Vance or whoever the next fascist cult leader is. To refresh everyone's memory, Trump got elected on January 20th, 2025, and these are just the highlights. On the very first day, he passed Restoring Freedom of Speech and Ending Federal Censorship, and which is just like all fascist rules, laws, and policies, it means exactly the opposite. What it does is it stops all federal agencies from restricting any blatant disinformation, fake news, and outright lie on social media platforms. I'm sure his main motivation to pass this was the stolen elections bullshit, but Kennedy and Maha is also definitely going to be using this to peddle a lot of health-related pseudoscience. So take everything medical-related online with a pound of salt. April 2025, Pam Bondi was directed to use the DOJ to open bogus prosecutions against pretty much everyone on the other side of the political aisle. She was also tasked with the creation of an anti-Christian bias task force aimed at eradicating what she described as anti-Christian bias in the federal government, which, let's face it, it's gonna be everyone on the other side of the political aisle. Anyone who says anything against them is anti-Christian. That's how it's gonna be used. August 2025, crime emergency declared in Washington, D.C., which puts the D.C. Metropolitan Police under federal control, or even more directly, under the control of Donald Trump, taking control of the nation's capital's police force. So you know when he loses the election, which at this pace he absolutely will, he can call out all of America's finest to beat democracy to a bloody pulp and arrest it. Which brings us to this month, September 2025. He has sent the National Guard into Memphis, Tennessee, while also declared Antifa as a terror organization. But that's good. Antifa is violent and extremist. Even if we accept this stupid assertion, there is no organized Antifa movement with a properly described hierarchy or structure of leaders and members. Turning Antifa into a terror organization is like declaring all Chads or soy boys or alpha beta cucks or any other stupid online lingo terms terrorist. Anyone can be accused of being one. For example, hypothetically, if you were to say be a conservative, then hypothetically that also made you a beta cuck loser soy boy, which hence, hypothetically, makes you a terrorist. Conservatives own, facts don't care about your feelings, nah! That was a horrible impression. Ben Shapiro is pretty hard with that nasally, weaselly voice. But that's pretty much all the thought going into it. It's 100% like the witch trials, except if you say anything that's lefty, congratulations, you're Antifa. While recording this audio, I just realized if you keep raising a stink about the Epstein files, then Trump will absolutely call you Antifa. You know that's true. these policies and laws will without a doubt be used to their advantage. Doesn't matter if they have to violate your constitution to get there. And remember, these were just the highlights. There was so much more that I did not put in this video. It's really beginning to seem more likely and likely that this administration is going to test the mettle of American democracy and the basic rights protecting your freedom of speech, freedom of work, and freedom of movement. And on that positive note, I think I'll end it here. Thanks for listening. Peace out.